Hello, welcome to yet another session of AMA Ask Me Anything. Okay, we have these sessions every Tuesday at 9 p.m. IST. Okay, so I'll be speaking about a small topic and then it'll be open to questions and you can ask your questions and I'll try to answer to my capability. Okay, so let's start today another topic. Hi Kamalnath, hi Shashikar, hi, hello world. So, so foods which are not to be consumed daily. There are certain foods which Acharya has told that you are not supposed to consume on a regular basis. There are certain combinations which are not supposed to consume at all. But there are certain kinds of foods which you are not supposed to consume. This is a very small topic, but I thought it would be interesting and informative for you. Okay. So the main reason why these things are not supposed to be consumed on a regular basis because they are basically abhishandi, or they interfere with the digestion. These are things which are not very easy to digest, so they can create indigestion, okay, and increase of sliminess in the blood. So that is not good for the body. So this is a very small topic, but I thought it might be interesting for you. Okay, so look at this. So there are list of vegetarian things which are not supposed to be taken. I've considered, milk and curd and all those things as veg. So veg foods which are not supposed to be consumed daily are curd, not to be consumed on a regular basis, vinegar. Okay, so because of shuktika, not to be consumed on a regular basis, black gram or masha or urad dal, not to be consumed on a regular basis. So there are people who consume idli, dosa and all those things, which is people consider that to be extremely healthy. So not to be consumed on a regular basis. Broad beans, okay, amaraka in Malayalam, flat broad beans are not supposed to be consumed on a regular basis. So colocasia or purple yam, okay, not the elephant yam, surana, okay, chena. This is something which not to be consumed on a regular basis. Okay, so colocasia is chamber, and purple yam is I'll get the name. I'll tell you later. Okay, so I'm telling you the Malayalam names. Okay, kachat. Okay, these things are not to be consumed on a regular basis. Pishtannam, okay, ground and especially fermented foods, not to be consumed regularly. So ground and fermented foods, idli, all those things, you grind something, grains, and have those, not very good. And plus, when you add black gram into it, it is not supposed to be healthy. Sprouts, okay, sprouts are something which is not to be consumed on a regular basis, because sprout is, it has left the seed part and it is something which is not reached the proper plant part, so it is in between. So it will cause a lot of vayu kshobha, okay, a lot of gas. You would have felt that when you eat sprouts you feel a lot of gas, and it is something which is not very easy to digest. Okay, leafy vegetables which have become in the sense, how do I call it, I don't say extremely dry or something, which have, which is not fresh. Leafy vegetable, palak and all those things, different kinds of spinach and all those things which are not fresh, never consume. Okay, and fresh jaggery, that means see, fresh jaggery, there is a tradition that people used to have panita, we call it. It will be slightly liquidish in shape before it is actually solidified. That also is not good because it increases the kapha and chances of worms in the body is too much. So not to be consumed on a regular basis. Okay, when you look at guda or jaggery, if it is kept for a year, it becomes pathya. Okay, so these are basically the vegetarian foods which are not to be consumed regularly. Now let us get into the non-veg foods. Okay, emaciated meat, in the sense if the animal is extremely weak, or it is old meat of that animal not supposed to be consumed. Dry meat. So you have got meat and you cut it into small pieces, you dry it so that you can eat it later. Dry meat is not good for regular consumption. Pork or eating pig, pork is not good for regular consumption. Sheep, goat is good. Sheep is not good for regular consumption. Beef is not good for regular consumption. And fish is also not something which you are supposed to consume on a regular basis. Okay, rohitika is one fish which is considered to be good, but by and large, okay, fish is not something which you should consume regularly because it increases the kapha a lot too much. Okay, even during treatment, we give that. Suppose a person, we have decided to give him vamana or vomiting treatment the previous day for us to increase the kapha so that when he vomits, all the kapha so we help the kapha increase in the last minute. For that, we give him urad or black gram or fish or even curd, so that when you give him the previous day, next day morning you have planned to give him a vomiting treatment, okay, the vamana. So the previous day night you give him all these things, and by the next day the kapha will be too much, so it's easy for him to vomit. So most of these things, which I've mentioned, this is as per Ashtanga Hridaya, the eighth chapter. When you go through that, you will see that a lot of foods have been mentioned which are not good to be consumed on a regular basis. Next week, we'll deal with foods which are to be consumed on a regular basis. Okay, so questions on that I will take next week, but other questions I can definitely answer today. Okay, so let's start. The questions have already started coming in. Okay. So how to deal with abusive parents? Hello world, this is something which is a very personal thing. Okay. I would say, it's not only parents. Any abusive relationship, I don't think you have to be in any abusive relationship. But when it comes to parents, as we call, your dharma as a son, you have to be there for your parents. But if they are abusive, I would say don't stay with them. You can stay afar, and then whatever other needs of theirs, you can basically take care. But I don't say, as being parents, I don't want you to completely cut off from them, but I would say it's always good for you to get detached and do your duties without getting abused. So stay away from them and take care of them. Kamalnath, yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, it's all his grace. Hi Shashikar, hi. Which oil is used in Kerala on a day-to-day basis? If you are asking for cooking, okay, internal, then I would say most people in Kerala use coconut oil as their cooking oil. Okay, but if you are asking for external application, sesame oil is the best oil for external application. Coconut oil base is the best for the head, but for the body, sesame oil, gingery oil, til ka tel is supposed to be the best. But if you are looking at a medicated oil, then I would say Dhanvantaram Tailam would be the best oil. Okay. Can you please give some Ayurvedic formula to become a billionaire? Because I sometimes feel hard work alone is not enough. Okay. There isn't, see, if you are looking to make money, okay, yeah, there might be some things, some formulas which work, some formulas which don't work. We don't know which formula will. If you're looking at probably a medicine or something, you mean this medicine for some cure or something, we don't know which really works, because if you look at out there, say for example, you are coming up with a song or a movie. Okay, sometimes you have put your heart and soul into it. The movie is an amazing movie, but sometimes it doesn't even click. Okay, but you have come up with some stupid movie, you don't know, with probably no basic storyline, but sometimes it just becomes a big hit. So you can't say which is actually going to click or make you a billionaire. But I would say, hard work and consistency is the only way you will become successful. And just because you become a billionaire doesn't mean that you are successful in life. Okay, success in life is actually peace. Okay, you just asked me a question about being you having abusive parents, so I think that is somewhere you also have to make peace with. Okay, especially with yourself. Don't feel over sympathetic towards yourself, and don't cut off your parents also. You have to you have to strike the right balance. Okay. Are kitchen fresh dhania, mint, and coriander leaves meant for everyday use? If this, yeah, yes, dhania, mint, and coriander leaves. No, dhania and coriander leaves are basically the same, right? You can actually mint is pudina. Yes, you can use it on a regular basis, but okay, moderately. It's just because something is good to be consumed, that doesn't mean that you have to use it every day, or you can use that in excess. So is in the sense, however you feel like using it, all these things are basically taste enhancers, even though yes, they do have medicinal properties, but when you're using that in a kitchen, okay, to make food, okay, these are all taste enhancers, because as far as food goes, rasapradhanam aharam. Aharam is food, rasapradhanam. That means you are giving more importance to taste. Okay, as far as food goes. So, however you feel to make that food tasty, you can use these things. But I would say don't overuse it, or don't, just because it is good, don't try to use it every day. Okay. Yeah, Cynthia. How about sourdough bread for frequent consumption? This is considered too much fermentation. I would say, any bread which is made out of fermentation. Um, Ayurveda also says the same thing, and my experience also. If see, it's again, there's another thing, Cynthia, attached to it. Like if you are probably for generations and generations used to something, okay, you will be able to work around it. But if you fall sick, you'll notice that probably the sourdough and all those things might not be actually good for you. But keeping that aside, I would still say fermented foods, when you ferment something, it is basically acidic. You can't have something which is alkaline and fermented, so it becomes acidic, and consuming so much of acidic food will actually increase the pitta in your body. So, in my opinion, it is not a good thing to do. Okay. But I know that a lot of studies have happened, and they say sourdough bread and all those things are good for health. But still, I would say don't do it every day. Cook something fresh, okay, and have fresh food rather than fermented foods. Is there anything called nazar in Ayurveda? I think what you mean by nazar is, that if you are doing really well and somebody casts an evil eye, that evil eye is basically what you mean by nazar, if I'm right. Okay. See, these basically a lot of things like curse and bad eye and all those things work if your sattva bala is extremely low. Okay, hope you're able to understand that. If you are strong and if you are confident in what you're doing, and you basically are not doing anything unethical, that means your sattva level and your confidence level is always going to be high. Okay, if you are doing some hera peri or doing some unethical work and you are trying to make money or doing something, then you will always have a problem with other people complaining about you or looking at you with evil eyes and all those things, and you will be affected by it. But if you are on dharma, on the righteous path, evil eye and all those things will not affect you. Don't worry at all. Okay. Yes, Ayurveda mentions about all these things, but still it says the same thing. Once your sattva is high, everything is taken care of. What does regular mean in Ayurveda and how often? Regular means daily. Okay. So these are the list which we saw are the things which you are not supposed to consume daily. Okay, so probably might be once a week or twice a week might be okay with you, and lot of things depend upon okay how much your digestive capacities. If you are able to digest foods really well, then probably a little bit here and there would be fine. But if you are sick, or if you are weak, or you are recovering from some issue or something, the list which I gave you is a big no-no for you. Okay, you have to get into foods which are so-called pathya. Okay, foods which can be consumed daily basis, and again it should be light and easily digestible. And Shashikar, you should make a note of this, that modern science says that you are what you eat. Okay, but Ayurveda goes much deeper. He says you are what you can digest. So there is no point eating a lot of nutritious food if you don't have the capacity to digest it. Okay, so when I mean regular, probably once a week or twice a week will be fine, but never every day. Okay, is coconut yogurt in the same category as curd? Cynthia, I see. First of all, almond milk, soya milk, oat milk, coconut milk have been named milk because of the white color which has it, which is got. Okay, but when we say milk, by and large, we have got this concept that it is an animal product. And how does milk get produced? Milk is basically produced to nourish the little one. So the after the whole metabolism of the mother happens, the best nutritious part, the byproduct, is basically milk. Okay, so it is a plant, it is an animal product, and it is the best byproduct of that animal. Okay, so just imagine how much of nourishment it can give that animal or another animal. But if you look at a coconut, okay, coconut pulp is need not be the essence of that whole tree. Okay, so in no way you can compare a coconut milk with a traditional milk. Okay, even though people are trying to push oat milk or almond milk, yes, protein, a lot of things are there, and now what they're doing is they're adding calcium into these milks to make it look or feel like the normal milk. Okay, so I would say that if you ferment it and then make it into yogurt, I would say that also should not be considered consumed regularly. So, but if you look at things which you can consume regularly, buttermilk is something which can be, because it is lighter. You churn the yogurt. So once you take the butter out of it, what remains is buttermilk that is light and easy to digest. You can have that, Cynthia. Okay. Ha. According to you, what is the best diet, doctor? So, if see, there is nothing like a best diet or a worst diet. First of all, you have to understand what food you are used to eating. So suppose, for example, you are from India, so you might be used to eating. If you're from North India, you might be used to eating mostly predominantly wheat, and if you're South India, you might be predominantly used to eating rice. And whatever foods which grow around you seasonally, okay, all those things are the best food for you. Okay, Rudo, I think you should be able to understand that. And whatever food probably which is processed, okay, which you buy from outside, okay, and processed foods like deep fry, like finger chips or pizza or burger or packet chips, and all those things are extremely bad for health. So whatever is cooked at home, okay, is actually, and whichever all those vegetables and fruits which are locally grown and seasonal is the best for you. Okay, so this applies to every part of the world. Asafoetida, is it okay to add regularly into meals while cooking? Yes, Kamalnath, asafoetida is actually good. Hingu, we call that. It is good because it is digestive, but Okay, it is not supposed to be taken in excess. Okay, because what happens if you take that in excess, there's always a chance of your motions being slightly, you find it slightly difficult to pass motions when asafoetida actually goes up. Okay, it is slightly grahi. Okay, so I don't want you to take too much of asafoetida as far as food goes, but for taste a little bit here and there is fine. Is cooking an iron vessel something recommended every day? See, a cooking vessel is a very, very, very important thing. Lot of people use aluminum vessels or non-stick vessels or sometimes stainless steel vessels. Stainless. Uh, there are a lot of different studies about both aluminum. Some people say aluminum is bad. Some people say aluminum is okay for cooking. Same thing happens with non-stick also, Teflon coated. Some people say it is good. Some people say it is carcinogenic or it is bad. So let us take it aside. Keep those two things aside. Okay. Traditionally speaking, you have got mud vessels where people cook. There are a lot of people who have moved to cooking in mud vessels. It is actually very good. Okay, the taste itself is slightly different. It's entirely different. Now you also see stainless steel vessels. Stainless, how is steel created? Steel is created by beating iron. So basically, it is iron. But the problem is with stainless steel is, I don't say it's a problem, is that it is neutral. It doesn't provide any nutrition to the food, or neither it is toxic. So it's something which is neutral, which does not give you any extra benefit. Okay. But if you look at iron vessel, okay, for somebody who is a pure vegetarian, okay, it is very difficult to get iron from plant sources, to that much of iron from plant sources. So I would recommend that you cook at least one vegetable in an iron kadai, okay, in an iron vessel, so that, see, only thing is that the color of the vegetable might change a little bit because of the presence of iron, but I would say that is the best way for you to get iron on a regular basis. You will get only very little iron, but you keep on having that on a regular basis. It's all cumulative, right? So slowly, you will start getting iron in your food and into your system. Okay, so cooking in iron vessel is recommended. Drinking copper vessels water on daily basis good, yes, okay. But one thing about copper vessel is that you have to maintain it really well. You have to clean it once in a while, because there's always, you see that greenish color which comes. I think it's called galvanized or something. The greenish color comes into the copper vessels. You have to see that you clean it really well. Okay. If you look at textbooks, okay, Shashika, this for information, the best vessel to drink water is not copper vessel. Okay, a lot of people say copper vessel is the best. If you have got the money, I would say the best glass or the vessel for you to drink is gold. Okay, next is silver. Okay, then only comes copper and other price. Even mud, okay, a glass or a vessel made of mud is equally good. Okay, you don't have to go for copper vessels. Copper maintenance is not easy. Okay, so if you've got the money, go for gold. Yes, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger died a super poor, but still they live a very good and healthy life. Is it because of their karma? Hello world. How do you know that their life is very good? From outside, just because they have made a lot of money and he speaks a lot? I don't think Warren Buffett, when I look at him, I don't think he is super duper healthy. He might be, okay, we don't know. A lot of personal details don't come out. It might be something which might be a secret. We don't know what problem he is going through. Okay, we know that he says that he drinks a lot of coke or whatever it is. He eats all those junk, and he says it might be like that. But if you look at Winston Churchill, again, another example I can give you. He's somebody who started smoking, if I'm right, in his teens. And you will very rarely find a photograph of Winston Churchill without a cigar in his hand. He died, I think, by late 90s. 24, he gets up, he lights a cigar, and he smokes a cigar till he goes to bed. Okay. That doesn't mean that Smoking tobacco will actually make you live like Winston Churchill. Okay, it so happened. Okay, you can see a lot of people who eat super duper healthy food and just die like that. So as you said, it's karma. Okay, the strength of Agni vary during different phases of menstruation. Does it require different diets? Yes. Okay. So, during not only menstruation, okay, during the time of the day, if you look at it, also the Agni varies. So, what happens is during the time of menstruation, okay, you have got a lot of pitta increase. Okay, even though the flow is there, you have got a lot of pitta increase, and your vata has also gone up. So there is always a chance of your food being unpredictable, your appetite being unpredictable. Sometimes you're hungry, sometimes you're not hungry. Okay, because the vata is high. And one other thing you see is the vata is also high and the pitta is also high. Okay, so there is, so there is only one taste which can pacify both vata and pitta at the same time, and that is sweet. Okay, lot of women do have cravings for sweet, sometimes chocolate or dark chocolate or something they want to eat in and around their periods. It's because that vata and pitta is extremely high. Okay, so just follow your instinct. If you feel like eating, eat. If you don't feel like eating, don't eat. But either way, don't underdo a lot of things or don't overdo when you're too hungry. Okay. Sometimes I have very light itching type sensation throat. Is it a mild acidity? Can be. Even a premonitory symptom of cough has been mentioned as you feel like a thorn there and you feel a little bit itchy in the throat. So if a cough, if a cough is coming also, you might feel that itchiness in the throat. But consistent itchiness in the throat could be gastro reflex. Okay, acidic reflex. There is always a chance. Yes, Soundarya. I think we already handled that. Yes, it is recommended for every day. So I would say you don't have to cook all your dishes in an iron kadai. You can cook one sabji in iron kadai, and but as I said, the sabji might not look one veg. I mean, sabji means a vegetable dish in an iron kadai. But one thing, as I said before, that the color of the vessel the vessel will actually change the color of the vegetable you're cooking. It might be slightly blackish in color, might not look good, but it's very healthy. Do you happen to know what a mineral is called? Body revival by health reactive. Absolutely not. I don't know. Spiky pine. Okay. So this is something which they have created. Okay. By taking Ayurvedic herbs. I've got no idea about that thing. I'm sorry. So you'll have to basically ask somebody who knows that, or you have to go through the ingredients in it. And it again depends upon whether they have given the right ingredients in it. You have to go through the ingredients and try to find out whether it is good or not. I've not heard about it, body revival. Jenny, what could be the cause and imbalance behind mouth dryness in mornings after sleep? The main reason, Janani, for having mouth dryness when you get up in the morning is because you have been breathing through your mouth. That means you have got a habit of your mouth opening and you are breathing through your mouth. That is the foremost thing which comes to my mind. Okay, you might have a blocked nose, or you've got a habit of opening your mouth and breathing. That is the main thing. So when that goes up, what happens? So this is kapha place, right? And so when you're breathing with your mouth open, okay, nose is kapha, but your mouth oral when you're breathing like that with a lot of air inside, vata goes up and the kapha gets dried up. Okay, you're welcome, Cynthia. How to view tendency of prolonged disinterest in life and mild memory issues from Ayurvedic lenses? See, disinterest in life. can happen due to, see, I would say, Janani, these are deranged conditions. Okay, that means they are not normal. We can also call them diseased conditions. So first of all, you should try to understand what are the causative factors. I'm not telling about memory. Mild memory issues will happen as you grow old. Okay. But disinterest, that to prolonged disinterest in life, is due to some events that have happened in your life which are not resolved yet. Okay. So once those things are resolved, probably you will have the zeal to live a better life. Okay. So there is no spice in your life yet that you're looking forward to something in the future. You are basically living in the past with, all those memories, guilt or whatever it is, and then you're still there. That's the reason why you don't have any interest in something that is happening right now, or you are not looking forward to something happening tomorrow. That has that issue. So I would say the causative factor has to be found, and that has to be resolved generally. Okay. So this is basically a mental thing which you're going through. Okay. So Ayurveda says that very clearly, that you have to have, okay, somebody probably sitting with you. Okay. A psychologist will actually be able to find out what's happening with you, and then you will be able to come out of it. Okay. Spirulina, they say, is a superfood. It is taken from the sea algae or something. Spirulina, it say it's a superfood. It came with a bang, might be 20, 25 years back, and now I don't think it is selling much. So I don't have anything to say about anything as a superfood. Okay. Like nothing can be a superfood like that. Everything is super in its own way. Okay, some people say moringa is the most super food in this world. I don't say like that. Nothing like that. Everything has got its own role to play. But if you ask me in a broad way, okay, which is the super food, I would say milk is the most food in the world, because if you go through the texts, it is the only food, complete food, which can pacify your thirst and hunger at the same time. Look at a child when it is thirsty, milk. When it is hungry, milk. When it is sad, milk. When it is angry, milk. So milk is the only thing which can manage a lot of things at the same time. That's why Ayurveda gives so much of importance to milk. I'm coming across such issues across all age groups more so than before. How has it been in your experience? See, I have not seen people who are disinterested, but the problem is that their interests are different. Okay, in the sense they are disinterested with a lot of things happening around you, because they are more interested in their phone, on Instagram, on Facebook, on online, on the internet stuff. And that's the reason why we sometimes feel that they have got a disinterest towards life. I don't think they've got disinterest towards life, but they absolutely, they are shut down from a lot of things happening around them. That is my experience. Even happens with children also, no? Because in those days, when we were kids, we used to run out, go play, climb a tree, fall down. Now these kids, they don't do any of those things. And I heard one of the mothers complaining the other day, she's telling that kids don't want to take any risk at all. You tell them to climb or look to what you call stretch and look to the other side of the wall. They don't want to do, because they feel that they might fall down. Okay, they won't even climb a compound wall. So the times have changed. That's all. But I don't think they don't have any interest in, their interests are different. That's what I personally feel. Okay. How to view, okay, this is something which we have already handled. I'm coming across such issues. Okay, this also we have managed, handled. Okay, where did we go now? Let's see. Am I missing something? 1 second. Yes. Such issues exist in women in my mother's side of family, even though it seems opposite to my own nature. Any precautions I can to stay clear from such? No, I think you have to be focused, you have to be somewhere, you have to be grounded. Okay. And you have to touch reality first thing, and you also have to be spiritually connected somewhere. So it both ways, you are grounded and you are spiritually connected. You have to strike the right balance. That's all I would say, Janani. It's your journey, first of all, Janani. You should understand what your purpose is. Okay. And that doesn't mean, I didn't mean about physically, about whether you are going to become an IAS officer, IPS officer. That's not what I meant. Are you going to make 10 lakhs a month? That's also not what I meant. Other purposes in life, how you see yourself 25 or 30 years from now. If you are 40 years, how old you are, how do you see yourself 75 at the age of 75 or 80? Still running a business, still doing all those things, then you have to work towards that. Okay. But otherwise, if you want to lead a peaceful life, then you have to slowly work towards it. So your journey is different, and I think you should probably connect with towards inwards and try to find out what is going to suit you better. That's what I said. Somebody who a true life coach. Okay. Somebody, if you have got somebody, that person will be able to guide you and help you in that. Is it good to drink water first thing in the morning as per Ayurveda? Yes, as per Ayurveda, it is okay. You can drink a glass or 2 glasses of warm water in the morning. I don't want you to overdrink. There are people who drink 1.5 liters, 2 liters of water also. I don't think that is necessary. Okay, don't overdo that also. A little bit of water in the morning, which will help start your bowel movements. I think that's fine. It is said that we should not consume more than 3 grains together, but in my state, Maharashtra, we make a traditional dish called talipe. It's made by making flour of 5 to 6 grains. What's your view on this? So, tradition, there are a lot of things which are traditionally being passed from generations to generations, and I don't say that is wrong. But normally, uh, as food, if you look as food when you consume on a regular basis, okay, we don't even mix 2 grains. For kind information, we either eat rice or wheat or bajra or ragi. You normally have only one, whatever grain it is. It can be dhanya or trinadhanya and millets. So normally we don't mix grains at all. But you say that is a traditional dish, okay, where you mix 5, 6 grains, 10 grains, 20 grains. That's okay, but that's not something which you eat on a daily basis, right? You have it as a dish, have it gone good. Body knows how to manage that. But if you start overdoing something, then it might be a problem. Just because somebody says it is good and then you start overdoing things, that is where the problem is. I recently did Panchakarma, but now after 2 months also my energy levels feel low. What can be the reason, doctor? Samriddhi, let me make a few wild guesses, okay? Um, it is very important for us to really get prepared for the Panchakarma first thing. Okay, Panchakarma is all about 3 steps: the Purva Karma, the Pradhana Karma, and the Paschat Karma. Purva Karma is preparing you for the Panchakarma. That is, if you're sick, I would never recommend somebody just come. Okay, come for Panchakarma. No, I would tell them no. Consult me first. Let's go through your conditions. You take these medicines for some time. It could be probably might be getting their Agni up or do some Deepana Pachana, whatever you call that, and getting them ready for the treatment. Okay, so Purva Karma is very important. In Purva Karma, we also include, Sneha Sweda. That means how much, even after you reach the hospital, how much you have been prepared with internal ghee or oil or something, and then how much with sweating, So that is Purva Karma. Pradhana Karma or the typical Panchakarma, okay, the cleansing process. Your Virechana, okay, making you vomit, that is Vamana, or making you pass motions, that is Virechana, or Vasti, whatever it is, if all those things have been done really well. The third thing, equally important, is the Paschat Karma. After you have done the Panchakarma, what happens is your Vata goes extremely high and your body is tired. Naturally, right? How you build that back, there's something called the Samsarjana Kriya, which is very, very important to follow. So, Purva karma, Pradhana karma, and Paschat karma are equally important. And after the Paschat karma, only we basically start giving them Rasayana Dravya or Shamana Dravya and try to get the energy levels back. So somewhere, if one in these three things have not been properly done, then there is always a chance of you feeling slightly weak. I think those things have to be handled. Yeah, Valishri, there are many claims saying direct sun exposure can fasten aging and sunscreen will reduce it. Is it true or just a marketing claim? Going well. I like that word, going well. Okay. See, Ayurveda does not recommend you to go and hit the road in the sense during the noon. Okay. It always talks about so when you're going out, it always tells you to carry an umbrella, a stick, and your footwear and all those things. That means you are not supposed to get exposed to direct sunlight. Okay, probably between 10 and 4, or maybe 11 and 4, when it is extremely hot. Sun, when it rises, and probably about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it is not very harsh. It is good. And we call that poku, when the sun is going back, might be after 4 o'clock to about 6 o'clock also might be good. Don't get exposed to the sun, which is very, very hot. Okay. And the other part of it, nothing is basically going to help you slow down your aging. Probably doing a little bit of protecting yourself with certain things can make your skin look better. For that, the best thing is that when you're having food, see that your food actually contains a little bit of oil. It can be in the form of whichever oil you're used to using, or it can be form of ghee. Mix it and have it. And then you do regular exercises, and when you sweat, when you sweat, you have seen when people sweat, you have seen that oily thing coming out, right? When you consume that much of oil, and when you exercise, your body will actually send out a lot of oil sort of thing from the skin. That will actually make your skin very good. So application of oil externally and taking some fats internally will actually help you. Not deep fry. Okay. Is it okay to consume millets at night? Also, is overnight fermented kanji good for health? I would not recommend anything which is kept overnight, if not specifically for some disease conditions. See, if you see, we have got this concept, that anything that is kept overnight can increase tamas. Same thing happens to rice, which people call that paranganji or old sadam, paran sadam we call that. People cooked rice, they keep it overnight and they mix it with curd and have it in the morning and say it is very good for health. I don't say no. It is good for health for people who are putting in a lot of physical exertion, like laborers who work in the field. They need that kind of energy, and they can burn that whole thing out. Okay. But if it is being consumed by somebody who is supervising that work, in the sense, people who working is fine, people who make them work, in the sense supervising, and who's not doing too much of physical activity, you'll see that they'll slowly start becoming sleepy. Over a period of time, they become manda. Okay, so anything which you carry forward to the next day is not something I would recommend. Second part of the first part of it, millets are sometimes always drying, because millets grow in dry land and they don't need too much of water. So millets are mostly drying. So if you're somebody who has got a chance of getting constipated, I would say it might not be a good choice to have millets at night. But if you're used to having millets at night, I would say fine. But otherwise, I would say wheat or rice would be a better option. It's a call which you have to take, Samarthi. Okay. If I make salad using raw veggies and boiled chickpeas, is it okay? I mean, mixing raw and cooked food in salad is fine. Ayurveda does not recommend mixing cooked and uncooked foods. Okay. So I would not say it is fine. And Ayurveda also is not of a huge fan of having uncooked foods like salads. Okay. If you have really good appetite and your hunger is very well, you'll be able to manage with salads. But somebody, they say, I'm not feeling well, so let me have a salad. That is not a good choice, because anything that is cooked, Cooking happens here also. So anything that is cooked actually cooks better inside. So it makes it easier to digest. So cooked food would be actually better. Okay, especially if you are not well and you don't have the digestive capacity. But I would still say don't mix. So don't mix salad and your rice and eat also. Okay, if you want to eat salad in the beginning and then continue eating your rice. Yeah, Bhargavi. Sir, is light protein like yellow moong good in dinner with some rice, vegetable, and coconut milk or dinner, or has to be light on protein? See, I don't I don't know why the word protein came down there. Okay, yellow moong is actually good for dinner. Okay, and I wouldn't want to look at food. I want to look at food as food, okay, not as measuring as to 21 grams of protein with 15 grams of or 21 25 grams of carbs and 10 grams of fat. In my personal opinion, that is not food. Okay, food is something which should be tasty, and you should enjoy, and it's not something which is measured and consumed. Pathyam, that doesn't become pathyam, because the definition of pathyam is pathyam manasa priyam. It should be good, you should feel good after your mind should feel really good after you look at the food and eat the food. Measured food is actually, it is not a kind of food for regular intake. If you are sick or something, then that's a different thing altogether. Okay, but I don't want you to focus too much on having protein, this much protein, that much protein. Generally have a balanced diet. Okay, tasty food, do general good exercises, and sleep really well. Okay, but let your dinner be basically a little bit light. Can legumes be mixed? Only this one variety recommendation applies to all food. Yes, generally, it's always good for you to take one at a time, Janani. Okay, when you say multi-grain atta, you say multi-pulses that. Okay, sat, and I don't know why we have to do all those things. Okay, I would say you eat one pulse a day. Next meal you eat another pulse. Same thing happens when you go to the restaurant also. I've seen a lot of people, when friends, all of us, 6, 7, 10 of us go for lunch. Okay, so what happens is one person orders a bread and a curry. Another person orders another bread and a curry. Another person orders a rice variety. Another person orders something else. There might be about 6 or 7 dishes, and you pick from every dish and you eat. And you feel, oh wow, 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 tasty, tasty. Then you eat everything. You end up eating everything, but you don't realize what happens after all these things go inside. Okay, and then suddenly somebody will order an ice cream, somebody will order a fruit salad, somebody will order a gulab jamun. You take pieces from that and eat, and you feel, wow, God knows what is going to happen after all these things go inside. Okay, so I would say, when you are even going out, probably eating like that, you stick to whatever food you have ordered. One variety, eat it really well. Next time you go and eat something else. Next time you go and eat something else. Don't keep on mixing a lot of things, because sometimes you don't know that's what we call viruddha. We don't know what happens once it goes inside. Okay, Janani. What happens to food when fried? Is there any food that gets better for consumption after frying? No, when I don't know exactly chemically what happens to food when it gets fried. Okay, but generally it is not healthy to have fried foods on a regular basis. Okay, and too much. And is there any food that gets better? Most of the foods get better for consumption after frying, taste wise. Okay, quality wise, health wise, I'm not very sure, but taste wise, definitely. Cooked potato, fried potato, cooked bindi, lady's finger, fried lady's finger. You look at this thing, the moment you fry it, it actually becomes tastier. That's the reason why kids and adults are all used to having fried foods. Okay, not very good. Hare Krishna. Pre-COVID, no one spoke about protein, creatine and all. Why the sudden burst of promoting protein a lot? Every other fitness person talks about it. Can we bust this myth? See, before they come out with that, there's a lot of scientific studies that have happened. Okay, I don't want to blame any of the studies, and I don't know what the purpose of that study also is. Okay, but sometimes, when we have discussions, I might be right, I might be wrong. Okay, but when we have these discussions, we find out that all our elders and ancestors all have generally lived pretty healthy without consuming so much of protein. And me being a vegetarian person, I don't think I need to eat eggs or to eat chicken and all those things to get protein. But now there's another, people say that don't drink milk, cow's milk is for the calf. A lot of things are happening there, but according to Ayurveda, milk is very good. So I consume my milk, I consume my veggies and my pulses and all those things which are good enough. And I do exercise moderately. Okay. But now the thing is that if you're 70 kilograms, then you have to have 70 grams or probably 100 grams of protein per day to meet that. But the thing is that we are focusing only on muscle strength over here. When in Ayurveda, you have got the seven dhatus, the seven tissues. Okay. Out of that, muscle is only one tissue. And if you're focusing only on the muscle, okay, what will happen on for the other tissues? So I would say, Hare Krishna, let us use our common sense and try to understand that whatever food we eat, okay, it at the end of the day, all those things have to be processed and managed and filtered and then thrown out of our body. Okay, so everybody has to overwork, but you would have noticed that somebody who is an excessive protein will always have digestive issues. Okay, he'll have a bad gut, he'll be passing gas, he'll digesting protein is not an easy task. So I don't want you to basically fall into the thing that you have to eat so much of protein to be healthy. No. Okay. But if you are going to the gym and you are doing bodybuilding, in my opinion, bodybuilding is not health. Bodybuilding is a sport where they actually they might do a lot of other things also. There are a lot of people who take injections and all those things, growth hormones, take a lot of proteins, 10 eggs, 20 eggs, 30 eggs, 40 eggs per day, and then they pump a lot of iron and build muscles. That is sport and that is not health. For a person, normal person to stay healthy, eat normal food, do normal exercises regularly, stick to normal things, and let us stay normal. Okay. Regarding mixing cooked and raw, what about raw green salads with rice and curry? Does the same apply rule? Yes, Kamalnath, the same rule has to apply, right? So I would say, we generally, because the according to Ayurveda, the Agni required to digest different things are always different. Okay, so you have to cook food and then have it. So if at all you want to eat something uncooked, okay, which Ayurveda does not recommend too much, I would say eat it in the beginning of the meal because that takes a longer time to digest. So eat that and then continue with your cooked food. But I don't want you to mix everything and then torture the body. Okay. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Kamalnath. Welcome. Okay. So I think we have come to the end of the session. It's almost an hour now. Okay. So we will meet next week with another topic. Okay. Till then. Okay. Good night.